Hey everyone, my name is Heba and welcome back. For the month of August, I've been trying several things, not a lot comparing to previous months. But I want to let you know what I thought about the products that I've been using, if I liked it, if I didn't like it, and if I need more time to see if I do like it. Well, let's go ahead and start with Natasha Denona, I Need a Nude palette. I know this is making its rounds all over YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I don't have TikTok, so I don't know, but I'm sure it is making its rounds there. And it's what I'm wearing on my lids right now. But I have to say the I Need a Nude palette, it's kind of maybe 60-40. I like it. The 40% of it, I think it's a little bit light. There are some shades in here that does look a little ashy on my lids. There's only one deep shade, and maybe I can use this one as a medium shade to kind of give me some more depth. But Silhouette is the deepest shade here, and it's what I have on the outer corner. And so that's the deepest shade I can get to get that dimension on my eyes. I can get away with this shade Tender to give me some dimension, but by itself, I think it does look a little ashy. Luckily, there are two kind of a warm tone rosy shades to kind of warm the look up, and that's what I did for this look. I believe I applied this shade Wit in my crease, and then I used this shade Stone. This one by itself, I know it's going to look ashy on my lids. Stone. And because there's one deep shade in here for my skin tone, I think some of the looks will look very similar. Because the silver shades in here, they do look similar. Maybe they're a little, a shade off, or the texture's different, but the look still kind of looks similar. Now, don't get me wrong, 60% of it, I do love this palette. I mean, I love this look that I did today, but I think this is the deepest look I can get with this palette. So I used Wit, Stone, Silhouette, and this shade Filigree, and I have to admit this one's my favorite shade. And then I can't remember if I put this shade or this shade in the inner corners to just kind of brighten it up. But I have to say 60% of me do like this palette, and I know a lot of y'all do love this palette, but for my skin tone, some of the shades do look ashy. It's kind of light, and I can get several looks that looks very similar. Looks. I know how many times I'm going to say looks. The formula is beautiful. It is Natasha Denona, but it is a beautiful palette. But for my skin tone, 60% of it, I do like it. 40%, I could probably live without this palette. But I have no regrets of getting this palette. It's beautiful, and I do love this look that I have on today. Now let's move on to Prada. I did pick up two of the new eyeshadow quads, one lipstick and a foundation. And let's talk about the eyeshadow quads first. These are called the Dimension palettes, and I have to say that these are not my favorite. These do cost $80 for 4 shades. It is expensive, but for me, the shadows, they did kind of blend together, especially this one, 05 Pure. Yeah, this one's called Pure with that blue shade. These two shades right here kind of blended in together. The metallic shade is pretty. This blue shade, kind of patchy and powdery. And then this one, 06 Pulp, the same thing. And also when you layer the shades together, put a metallic on top of a matte, it didn't blend well together. The metallic didn't, I guess, stick on the matte shade. So unfortunately, these did not work out for me, so I will not be picking any more of these shadows from Prada for a long time, for a while. Picked up the foundation from Prada, and it's what I'm wearing right now. And I have to say, it's kind of growing on me. I have it in the shade MN60. It is a little light. That's what I noticed the first time I tried it on. But I think as we're heading into the fall and winter months, I think it's going to be a good match. But it is a little light for me right now, but I can kind of bronze it up to make it look a little bit more like my skin tone. It sits very nicely on my skin. Now I have to be careful with powder. This one is kind of a soft matte finish, and I did notice when I do powder my face, it does look a little cakey by the end of the day. So I just kind of powder underneath my eyes and just a little bit in my T-zone area right here. But I have to say, this foundation is kind of growing on me. I've only worn it, I think 4 times, so this one's probably the one that I need to try more often to make sure I do like it. But so far, it's kind of growing on me. I do like it. I do like how it sits on the skin. It does give me a little bit of a radiance, so it does have like a soft focus to it. It's not sinking in any pores. Now I do see it at times where it kind of sinks into my fine lines that I have right here and in my lips, or by my lips. And when I apply bronzer or blush, powder or cream, the foundation doesn't move, which is a good thing. But yeah, so far I'm kind of liking this foundation. Now I'm surprised that this is not available for us here in the States on Prada's website. The eyeshadows, lipsticks is available there. But I did pick this one up at Suffrages, and I'm surprised that it's not available yet because it's been out now for a couple weeks. And there are 33 shades in here, and it costs $54, but you can get it as a refill, which you take the cap off and then you take take this bottle off, and this is the refill bottle. You don't need to buy the case, which I do kind of like it like this, because this one does kind of take up space if you want to travel with it. But because I have this, I don't have a cap for the refill, so it will make a mess if I just leave it like this. And this is a glass bottle compared to this one's lucite, and you just stick it back in, and then there you go. But honestly, I do like the refill bottle better than this bottle. So with the foundation from Prada, I'm kind of liking it. Still gonna play with it some more. Make sure that the shade does match more in the fall and winter, but I do like how it's looking on my skin. The last thing that I bought from Prada is this lipstick, and this is the Soft Matte Monochrome Lipstick. They do have an Ultra Matte lipstick. I didn't pick any of those up because just that name alone just sounds kind of like it will just suck the life out of my lips. I did pick up one of the Soft Matte ones, and this one's in the shade, gosh, I can't remember, B102, which I believe is the name Cien. So it does have that kind of like a burnt sienna shade. It does have a thin layer on the lips, and it is a little drying, but it does last for a while. It's not like the Chanel, the Cocoa Blooms that I have on my lip right now. It does kind of come off, which I kind of feel like I need to add some more. But for me, with some of the matte lipsticks, I just add a gloss, and that just kind of moistens it up a little bit. But let me show you closely the bullet. One side, it does have that triangle, the Prada emblem, and the other side is more flat all across. It does kind of take some extra time to line the lip because of all those edges that's on the bullet. But it's not bad, and I do like the shade of this lipstick from Prada. Like the lipstick, liking the foundation more, but the eyeshadows, not my favorite. I have a lot of eyeshadows this month, believe it or not, and let's go into these from YSL, the Mini Couture Clutch Palette. Love these eyeshadows, love them. And I have 4 of them here. This one's 200, it's more like a warm brown. This one's 500, it's more pinky. This one's 600, another kind of a warm pinky shade. And then this one is 910, which is one of their limited edition palettes. And this one's like the Paris Streets. That's how they describe this palette. Paris Lights, I believe. Now with the YSL palettes, there are 6 in the permanent line and 2 limited edition palettes. And I do have all 6 palettes now. Because the first time I tried it, I got 100, 300, and 400. And I love the formula so much that I went ahead and picked up 4 more. Now my least favorite one is this limited edition 910. It's a beautiful palette, but it does need like a specific look for this. It's more for a date night look. And then this deep shade, this midnight shade, it is kind of blotchy and it's not very pigmented. You need to build it up. So this one's not my favorite, so I don't know why. The limited edition formula is a little bit different than the permanent line. And also I did a Will I Buy It video, and YSL is coming out with their holiday collection, and they're bringing this one back but with a different embossing on it. Kind of like snowflakes, I think that's what it had. Surprised they're bringing an existing palette for their holiday collection, but they didn't ask me. I do like the packaging. It does look like they're mini clutch bags, and I love these palettes, and I'll be using these a lot. And actually, I may even travel with these. It's very compact. I think they're very protected. There are some that did kind of come out. I believe it was in 100 or 300. I can't remember. One of the first ones that I got. But these eyeshadow palettes, love them. Love them. And these cost $68. It is expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than the ones by Prada. These were $80. But the formula you get in these, beautiful. I love these palettes. Now let's go into Chanel. I did pick up some things from their Equinox collection. 2 blushes, 3 of the Cocoa Blooms lipsticks, and 4 of something new that they have, loose eyeshadows. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the loose eyeshadows first. These are not bad. They are messy. They are very messy if you're not careful, but I do my eyes first, so it's okay for me. I just wipe off whatever fell on my cheek. But there's one that I don't like, and it's the deepest one, which is this one, 114. It is very deep, and it does make a mess. Really does make a mess. So here's how it comes, with a little, kind of like a nubby doe foot applicator. Let me go ahead and show you the deepest one first. It's kind of like a deep purple, kind of like the lipstick that I'm wearing right now. It is a pretty shade. Honestly, it's a pretty shade, but it's messy and it is kind of blotchy if you want to use this one as a one and done. Here's what I do like, 404, and it's what I use underneath my eyes. And the best way I like to use it is just apply it on the back of my hand and then get a brush and then apply it on my lids. And here is 404. Next is 406, and I would say this one's more of a metallic finish. All the others that I have is more, I guess, a matte finish. So here's that one, 404. It's kind of a peachy shimmer. And then the last one that I have is 412. And this one's kind of like a mauvey brown. So again, these are loose powder, can be messy, but if you put it in the back of your hand or even get your brush and take the product from this little doe foot applicator, I think it's going to be okay. I do like how smoothing it looks on my lids. Of course, I have it underneath right now, and I do like them. The only one I don't like is the deepest one. Now let's talk about the Cocoa Blooms, and it's what I'm wearing on my lips right now. And I believe that there are 6 shades. Can't remember if they were existing and one was existing, one's a new one. But I have to admit the Cocoa Blooms are my favorite formula. I do like how it feels on the lips. Let me go ahead and reapply what I have right now, which is 160 Wild. And this one is wild. Love that vampy look. And yes, this formula doesn't last very long on the lips, but it's very comfortable on the lips. And when you do apply it, it does have a little bit of a shimmer, but when you keep talking, the shimmer does kind of go away too. But I don't know, I just love the formula of the blooms and the pigmentation of it. Next I have is 158 Bright, which is kind of an orangey red. And then 154 Kind, which is a beautiful, kind of a blue red. And you can see the shimmer there. Also in this collection, there were 2 new blushes, and I did pick them both. 797 Beige and Coral, and 798 Beige Rose and Mauve. I love this one. This one's a beautiful shade. And I wore this one in the Will I Buy It, and I think it's a very pretty, kind of a peachy fall shade. Now this one, it looks like a bruise on my cheeks. You have to go very light-handed with this one. Let me see if I can swatch them both on the back of my hand right there. So this one's 797. And this one's 798. So you can see on my skin tone, it just looks like a bruise. But if you go very light-handed with the shade, it would look very pretty, but I think it'll still, on my skin tone, it'll look like a bruise. So this one's 798, not my favorite. 797, really do like. Very pretty. The last brand I'd like to show you is Suqqu, and this is the Autumn Winter Collection. Picked up both of their eyeshadows, one of their lipsticks, one of the liquid luster eyes, and their eyeshadow primer. Let's talk about the eyeshadow primer first, because in this look, I used this side with the Suqqu eye primer, and on this side, I used one of my favorites is the one by Hourglass. So I hope you can see the difference with it. The Suqqu one does dry down clear, whereas the one by Hourglass does have some color to it, and I didn't put any shade or any highlighter underneath my brow bone, so you can kind of see the difference. So you can see that there is some color underneath here, no color here, and I have to admit that the lid shade, the metallic shade, does show a little bit more light. So I hope you can see that in this camera. And I forgot to mention about this with the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. If I use the Suqqu eye primer, it doesn't look as ashy, but when I use a kind of like a colored eye primer, it does look a little ashy. You can kind of see even the warm tone just looks, you know, a little off, whereas on this side, it does look a little bit brighter. So I do like this primer. It does kind of enhances the eyeshadow. And because it does dry down clear, it doesn't camouflage any, I guess, imperfections we might have on our lids, like discolorations or anything like that. But it does make the eyeshadows pop, does make them a little bit brighter. It does come with a doe foot applicator, and just apply it on the lids and just use your finger to blend it out. But yeah, I do like that it does dry down clear. Now you have to let it dry down before you apply any eyeshadows on. But I do like how the eyeshadows are looking, and I really do hope that you can see it. I hope it picks it up in this camera. But this one by Suqqu, I have to say it's really good. It does make the eyeshadows pop. And again, I do like that it does dry down clear. Now the liquid luster eyes, this is something new that they came out with. Not my favorite, not my favorite. It does give you like a sheer translucent look to the eye, but it does crease. It does crease and it does melt off with or without primer, even with using it with the Suqqu primer. So this one's not my favorite, not my favorite. Now the 2 signature color eyes by Suqqu, those are my favorite. I just love the Suqqu formula and the color stories that they have. So this one's 127, very pretty with the ruby red and this blue gray shade. Now in the video Will I Buy It, I did use this shade, this blue gray shade. It's kind of like not a one and done, because I did use other shades with it. I think it's very pretty. And then this shade 128 with the golden yellow and the moss gray, very pretty. But I do love these palettes from Suqqu. Not the liquid luster eyes, but I do like the eyeshadow palettes. I did pick up the Moisture Rich lipstick. There were 3 in this collection, but I only picked up 1. And it was the deepest one, which is 127, and it's a deep burgundy. Very comfortable on the lips. Love the moisture that it gives. Of course, it doesn't last very long, but it's a pretty shade. Very comfortable formula. Do like this one. This is the Pure Color Blush 142, and it's what I'm wearing on my cheeks. And this is more like a beigey mauve, and I do like this one. There is another one in this collection which is more of a beigey beige. That one's gonna look too light on my skin tone, so I just picked up this one, and I think it's a very pretty color. These blushes just melts into the skin, doesn't look any powdery, and the pigmentation is there, and I do love the shades. So let me go ahead and swatch this one with the other blushes from Chanel. Let me put you over here. I call it a Barbie pink, and this is the Barbie pink that I've been looking for that doesn't look too ashy. And I do like that it gives a little bit of a highlighter there too. This is how they do the Pure Color Blush. There are 3 different tones in here, a deep shade, a medium shade, and this is more like a highlighter shade. And then I just kind of dip my brush where the highlighter will be at the top of the brush and just apply it that way. Of course, you can just get a small brush and use the highlighter by itself, but this is a pretty shade for my skin tone, and I do like it. Very pretty. Well, all right, you guys, these are the products that I've been trying for the month of August, and there are a lot that I do like, some that I don't like, and one that I just need more time to play with. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked it and enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos like this, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.